It's so hot. It's 81 degrees inside. It's 110 outside. Ugh. You know, I know I live in Las Vegas, but in the summer, oh man, it's warm. Okay, there's something I want to show you. This is my closet where I keep all my photo gear. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and edit some of this footage on the iPad, and I've gone ahead and used the camera connection kit, right, the little SD reader with a little adapter to get the micro SD card in here, and I took the footage off of the GoPro. This is the GoPro Hero 4 Black. I shot this footage in 4K at 30 frames a second in the not the super wide mode, but like the moderately wide mode, I guess. I don't know. Honestly, I'm still getting used to this thing. I did shoot it in the flat style profile though, so that I'll get the most amount of dynamic range, and I can add any contrast or color correction that I want later, which is what we're gonna do now in LumaFusion. Okay, so let's hop over to the iPad here, and I'm gonna go ahead and open up LumaFusion. I've got it in here somewhere. All right, and we've got our project already kind of started. I called it Sea Turtles, and I dropped just a really short clip in there. And I'm gonna go ahead and go get a longer clip that's got a little bit more in it. Okay, so we've got our clip open, and you can see we've got now the trimmer. And what the trimmer lets us do is a couple of different things. If you haven't seen any of my videos on LumaFusion in the past, I'll go ahead and link those above. But just a real quick refresher, you've got a couple of controls here. On the left, you've got these kind of handles, and these handles let you set the in and out point for the clip. Now, that's great. The downside to that is that it's really only one set per clip. So if you're like me and you shoot long clips and then you end up dropping in lots of parts of it, it's not as helpful. But for this particular case, we're just gonna go ahead and do a bunch of ins and outs and drops. So that means we're gonna be changing the in and out points throughout this process as we drop new clips. If you're cutting together a lot of different clips and you're just trimming a little bit here and there, this is actually really great. But what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go ahead and find the clips that look the nicest, starting from kind of the left. We're gonna kind of put a compilation together of all the shots that we had of this little guy. And then right below that, you'll actually see this kind of, it's kind of like a virtual wheel. In old school video editing, you would call this a jog shuttle or a shuttle wheel. They used to be little wheels that you could pull and turn. There's actually keyboards that you can buy that have that built in. But what we're going to be doing right now is actually just kind of using that to scrub the timeline. So we're going to be looking from the beginning of this clip, and I think this is the part of the clip where I've got the GoPro looking at my face and I'm saying there's a sea turtle. So if we scroll forward just a little bit, boom, there you can see him. So I'm going to set an in point here, and I'm going to get just a quick clip and then get an out point and then another clip. And then I'm going to go ahead and use this little button over here to the left to drop that down, that little down arrow. So that was a 4-second clip. Oh, it went to the wrong side of my clip. You can always drag and drop these around to make it a little easier. So let me take a quick look at that clip and see how it looks. Okay, so I like that clip. It's a little jittery towards the end, so I'm just gonna kind of pull that part out here, cut it down to about 2.5 seconds, and take another look. Okay, I like that. It's a little bit better. It's not great, and LumaFusion doesn't have image stabilization built in, so I can't do like a warp stabilize or a stabilization like you would in Final Cut or Premiere. But for this particular scenario, I think we're gonna be okay. We're gonna go back to our clip, and now we're just gonna jog ahead just a little bit more. And what we're looking for are just smooth motions. So there's one, I think, right about there. I'm gonna put that right there, and then kind of go, maybe right there. from right after I swing my hand right in front of the camera. I'm trying to swim over to this turtle as quickly as I can. So there is our in point. We've got a nice, smooth, steady look here. And that's a good out point, okay? And I'm gonna go ahead and drop that into the timeline. Now you'll notice that that little drop icon didn't light up. I'm not really sure why it does that. I think it has to do with the fact that I've got multiple clips for the same, multiple pieces of the same clip. So you can just drag it straight from this little edit window right down to the bottom. So there's our first clip, then there's our cut. All right, that looks fantastic. Okay, so now we'll go back to our clip and we're gonna find a little bit more here. There's a part where he just kind of dives down, which is super cool. So we'll just kind of get this, and it goes up. We'll go like that. See, now the button's available. I'm not really sure what's going on there. All right, we'll scroll through here where he goes down, and I kind of swim as quick as I can to follow him so I can get him in the shot. And we're gonna move that ahead here, and we're gonna go back and drop that in. Okay, so now, right now we've got about 16 seconds of total footage. So I just wanna kind of scroll through that really quick. Get him going down. That's really nice. Okay, I want to pull my hand out of that shot, so I'm going to tap on this clip, and I'm just going to take this. You see these little anchors? These little, they're kind of like handles on the side of the clip. I'm going to take the ones on the right, which are the end of the clip, and I'm going to yank them back a little bit until that part where my hand comes in. Do you see that right there? So I'm going to go right before that last frame, right before my hand comes in, so that my hand is not visible in the frame. Oh, one more, there we go. So now if I watch it again, all right, we don't have my hand in the shot anymore, that's good. Okay, so now we're gonna go back to our clip, and let's find just like one more little bit here. Let's just get one little bit more of this guy swimming around. I got pretty close to him at one point, so I kind of want to scroll ahead and see how it looks. All right, so there we go. So there's where I got real close. I'm gonna go ahead and put an end point here. And an end point there, and there's 11 seconds. Okay. So now we're at about 26 seconds, about almost 30 seconds. That's about as long as I would want this particular sequence to be if I was shooting this for a vlog. Or even if I was going to drop it on like Instagram as a story or something. So what I want to do is just kind of play through it, make sure everything looks okay. Okay, that is awesome. Okay, everything is looking really good. Okay, so now we've got these shots where we're real close to the turtle. We can see some of that detail, but one of the other things you'll notice is that even though the water was really, really clear, out in the distance, it's not as clear and it's a little bright, and you can't see him as well as I like, or as much as I know is possible. Because again, I was shooting this on the GoPro with that flat profile, so there's a lot of opportunity here in this footage. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on this last sequence here, and I'm going to go ahead and hit the toolbox button, and I'm going to hit presets down at the bottom. And I just kind of want to see if any of my previous presets will work. Just kind of want to see how they look. No, that's bad. Okay, let's see if there's anything they've got. Maybe a high contrast. That's not too bad. Ooh, that's bad. Okay. Black and white, basically you're looking at nothing. Black and white with vignette. Oof, no. No, okay. So we're gonna just say no thank you. And we're gonna undo all of that. Just undo, 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 undo. And we're going to go back to where we were. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to drop this thing into our little color editor that we have in here. And we're going to go ahead and see what we can do as far as edits. I'm going to try that first. if I'm not able to get exactly what I want, or even if I do, I'm probably then going to take a look at using a still in Affinity Photo to create a LUT that I'm then going to apply to this clip. So, okay, we've tapped the clip. We're going to go ahead and go to Edit. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and go to the Effects, Color and Effects over here. And we're going to add the original preset. So now we've got the original preset applied, so that means it's not doing anything to it. And we want to add some additional modification to it. So first things first, we're going to play with these levels a little bit. And what I want to do is I want to bring these midtones down because there's a lot going on there. So as we're playing around with this, we can really kind of add a lot of detail and just see quite a bit more of this image. Again, shooting it in that flat profile on the GoPro, man, that gave us quite a bit of additional information to play with. So I'm going to play with the brightness just a little bit, bring that up, bring the contrast up a little bit more. Now, when you bring up the contrast, in some cases you're going to lose some of the information in the blacks. So if I push that all the way, you can see we're missing quite a bit. So I'm going to bring that back down and bring it to right about here. Okay. And then I'm going to bring up the saturation. Now, if I bring up the saturation up too much, I'm going to get a lot of just blue everywhere. So I'm going to bring that just to kind of halfway, and then I'm going to bring the vibrance up quite a bit so I can get that green look out of the turtle shell. Okay, so we're playing around with the vibrance, we're playing around with the saturation. I really want to kind of change the hue of this. It's too blue. I want to pull some of the blue out. I feel like there's this blue halo over everything. And I know what you're going to say, well, it's underwater, so that's normal. But I want to change that look. So I'm going to bring up a little bit of the red and just kind of see if that brings it down. Pull out some of the green, maybe even move to a little bit of the yellow. And take a look at shifting some of this gamma property. Yeah, you know, even when I cycle through the hues as I'm playing with these controls, I'm just not a big fan of what I'm coming up with. So here's what I think I want to do. I want to cancel all of this. And I'm just going to go back to original. So now we're back to original. And I'm going to go back. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to maximize it here. And I'm just going to take a screenshot of this. Boom, screenshot. I'm going to go ahead and crop it. And we're going to go ahead and just crop it to here and crop it to there and hit done and hit save to photos. Okay, so now we're going to launch Affinity Photo. We're going to take this photo. We're going to make some adjustments to it. It's just called photo. Okay, so we're launching Affinity Photo. We're going to take that photo. We're going to add it in. Okay, so let's go ahead and add that in. And we're going to say we're going to import from photo. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do is we want to add an adjustment. So we're going to go ahead and click on the adjustments. And what I want to do is I need a curves layer. So we're going to go ahead and add a curve adjustment. Okay, so now we've added that adjustment. And now I'm going to go back to the layers here. So now I've got my curve control. And I'm going to bring up my spline. You can take your spline and do whatever craziness you want to do with it. Okay. So I'm starting with master channel, which means I'm looking at all colors. And I actually want to change that to the blue channel. And I'm going to go up here and I want to just bring down the darks in the blue channel. Now, bringing down the blue is the same as raising the yellow. Okay, so if you bring down blue shadows, what ends up being left are yellow. So we're basically adding yellow to this photo. So whether you want to increase blue, reduce blue, add yellow, increase yellow, like whatever you want to do, you can do it with the same control. So a lot of people look at RGB or red, green, blue in terms of their curves controls. And they think, well, what about yellow? What about purple? What about all these other colors? And those colors are complementary to the colors that you have control over. So you really have control over a lot of different colors. So what we're going to do here is we're going to bring up this yellow just a little bit. Not a ton, just a little bit. And then I want to bring up the blues in the highlights. Now, what you'll notice here, what it almost looks like we're doing, is like kind of modifying the white balance, but it's almost like modifying the blue balance. we're actually changing the blue quality of the photo because I just don't like the way that it looks like that. So now I'm going to go over to the green, and we're going to go up here, and we're going to bring up the red side of it. Okay, it's actually kind of the magenta, I think, on the other side of green. So immediately, even though it's still kind of washed out and flat, I much prefer the color of this particular design. So, and we've got a lot more control here. So if we go down too far, it's going to look too red, but I really like that right there. So I'm also going to bring down just some of the green shadows, which is going to bring up some of the magenta shadow, which almost gives it kind of an old style filmic look. And then I'm going to keep that right about there. So now I'm going to move back to the master. Okay. So now I've made those adjustments to the green and the blue channels. In the master channel, what I want to do is I just want to add additional contrast. So I really want to bring those up, and I want to bring those down right about like this, and then again like this. There we go. Okay, we can zoom in a little bit. Now, I know that we're zooming into video still snapshots, but this does enough in terms of what changes we want to make to the different pixels to be able to apply it to our video. So I like that a lot. I'm going to see if there's any other types of adjustments that we want to make. Let's take a look at the color balance wheel. And this is actually very similar to the curves layer, right? So you can actually do cyan red, magenta green, yellow blue in the mids, highs, and lows. You can do the same thing with a curves adjustment, just depending on how you want to do it, so we're not going to worry about that. And honestly, I think we're actually looking okay. So what I want to do now, now that we've kind of got that done, we're going to close that window, and I'm going to go over here, and we are going to, oh, no, it's not that one, it's going to be that one. And now I'm going to export LUT, okay? And we're going to call this Sea Turtle. Okay, and we'll call it Sea Turtle. Okay, and we're going to put it in the cube format. And I'm going to set the quality to 32. Okay, and export. So it's going to ask me, okay, well, where do you want to put it, right? So if you haven't watched my other tutorial on doing LUTs in Affinity Photo, there is a video about that. I'll go ahead and link it up here. So right now I'm specifically showing you how to do this with GoPro footage, but it's the same thing with Mavic Pro footage or with Canon footage or iPhone footage or anything really. You can take footage, edit it in LumaFusion, and create a LUT in Affinity Photo. Okay, so let's go ahead and save it into Dropbox. I've got a LUTs folder there, and we're just going to save it right to the main LUTs folder, and boom, it's been saved. Okay, so now we can actually switch back to, so now we've gone back over into LumaFusion, and now we're going to edit this clip again. We're going to go back into color and effects, except this time we're going to hit this little import button here. We're going to import a LUT. We're going to go ahead and hit LUTs. And there's my Sea Turtle LUT. It's going to download the LUT, and then it's going to apply it to our clip. Boom, there we go. And then I can change the blend mode if I want to, or the blend level rather, if I don't want to apply it all the way. In this case I do, so I'm going to go ahead and set it all the way. And then I'm going to save this as a preset, and I'm going to call this Sea Turtle. Done. Save preset. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to my clip. So now it has been applied. So you can see the difference, right? From here to here, significant improvement. From here to here. This is an iPad Pro doing color correction using a LUT in real time on 4K 30 frame per second footage out of a GoPro. I'm still amazed at this, okay? All right, so now we want to do the same thing. I'm going to tap on this clip here. I'm going to click on presets, and I'm going to go ahead and tap my sea turtle preset, okay? See how it looks. I'm going to tap this one here. I'm going to click presets, sea turtle. There's probably a faster way to do this, but I'm not really worried about it. There's not that many clips. So presets, sea turtle. Sea turtles, matey. Okay, and now I think all but these first few, and then preset, sea turtle, and whoop. Okay, now I'm going to add my washing machine just finished, and it sings a little song. Okay, so now I'm going to add that preset to my last clip, and then I'm going to go ahead and watch it. Okay, so now there's some audio in here of me like breathing. I don't really mind that all that much. I do want to add a little bit of music to this just to give it something, so you're not just listening to me breathing. So I'm going to go ahead and drop in some music. That sounds pretty good for turtle. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and drop this down, just like so. Okay, and then of course my clip is nowhere near as long as this music, so we're going to go ahead and squeeze our timeline here, and then I'm just going to shorten this so it's about as long as the music, or about as long as this guy here. Okay, and again, I'm just dragging those handles, right? That's all I'm doing. I'm just dragging those handles. And then to squeeze the timeline, I'm literally just kind of pinching and pushing with my fingers to make it smaller, to kind of zoom out of that view so that I can see the whole thing. So here we go. Okay, so I'm kind of curious. We've got 4K footage, we've got the cuts, we've got the effect, we've got the music. Let's see how long this takes to render. All right, so I'm gonna hit the output button, I'm gonna click on movie, I'm gonna click, tell it I just want it to go to my photos. I wanna shoot this in 4K, which is what it was shot in the first place. And there we go. Looks like it's going at about just a little bit slower than real time. This is the 10.5 inch iPad Pro from 2017. Okay, there we go. It's been exported. Let's go ahead and take a look. I like that. I thought it looked really good. Is that it? Is that what I would post? No. There's more stuff that I'd probably do, but that would be maybe what I would put in as some B-roll for a vlog that I was doing, or something else, some other project that I was working on. But it's really nice footage. So what we've learned from this, number one, is you can easily edit GoPro footage on the iPad Pro. LumaFusion is still by far, in my opinion, the best iPad video editor. I really wish it had stabilization though. I don't know how long that's going to take, but that'll be cool if they're able to plug that in. Shoot flat. shoot flat with your profiles. You can get some really great footage, and you can do all kinds of crazy stuff. And Affinity Photo, making LUTs is really fun with just a simple curves adjustment layer. LumaFusion doesn't have a curves adjustment. It's got something close, but it doesn't do what I want it to do. So I just hop into Affinity Photo, make my curves adjustment, drop it as a LUT, throw it into LumaFusion, render, and I'm done. Super easy. Okay, so if you like videos like this, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Go ahead and hit the little bell next to the subscribe button if you want to see new videos that I make. Hit the like button. It does the stuff with the algorithm. It makes all the things work and all the gears turn together to send more people my way. A little over 700 subscribers right now. Trying to hit that 1,000 mark before I hit 1 year on YouTube. 1,000 subscribers in 1 year. I think that's a pretty big success for me personally for what I'm doing. Leave a comment if you enjoyed this video, or if there's something super cool that you have edited on LumaFusion. Maybe you found some sea turtles of your own. I would love to hear about it, really. I want to watch your videos. Send me your stuff. Link it in the comments. I'll watch pretty much anything someone links to me in the comments. Check out my Instagram feed. I'm actually trying to increase my Instagram presence, trying to put more photos out there on Instagram, so check that out. And again, thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then like I said, hit subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.